I think Kamala...
This video is important to understanding Tim Pool's pre-election mindset and where his videos were prior to the election.
I think Kamala and Biden might be throwaway candidates. They know they're going to get steamrolled in the election. I really don't see the Democrats winning this. I think it's fair to
MH Dark Beast with 20 bits, Trump cult suicide watch.
say Trump's going to win re-election. I think Trump might have a massive, massive victory, which shocks the left. I think we're looking at a Trump victory, man. Trump 2020 landslide, even with everything going on with COVID. I think that's what we can expect. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Trump had a 49-state landslide. I think we could see a 49-state landslide. We may be looking at a Mondale-Reagan type scenario where Trump landslides 49 states. And we may see a 49-state landslide. Maybe a 50-state landslide. That'd be amazing. I think we might be seeing a 49-state landslide. I just really think it's more likely that Trump wins 520 electoral votes. No amount of mail-in ballots will matter. If Trump gets 537 or 36 or even 538 every single electoral vote. We all know Joe Biden will lose. Like, let's be real, man. As I've stated 1,000,001 times, Donald Trump's gonna win. The Republicans are gonna sweep. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Biden has defeated Donald Trump. Everything I've told you will be wrong and completely meaningless. But man, there are going to be people who see this. Crazy people who take it seriously. And they're going to panic and be like, the Hollywood elites are telling us what they think. Let's read on.
A few moments later.
But when you're making videos and millions of people are hearing you say things are going to happen, I think that you're influencing it.
How?
Because if you're like, say some really horrible thing, and I'm like, oh, okay, and I believe you, I might go get involved.
So you're saying that the people who watch me, who don't like, who like, there's Antifa people watching me going like, that is a good idea. Tim's right. We should go to people's homes, even though they already did.
Or if you're like, Antifa's horrible, someone might be like, I got to get a gun and go fight Antifa. They're horrible.
That's just normal communications. Anyone can do that. You know what? I'm going to go there. Why do you think you know more than I do when you work in a warehouse operating a forklift and I literally do nothing but read and comment and report on news all day?
Why do you think you know more than I do when you work in a warehouse operating a forklift and I literally do nothing but read and comment and report on news all day? And I literally do nothing but read and comment and report on news all day.
I think Kamala and Biden might be throwaway candidates. They know they're going to get steamrolled in the election. I really don't see the Democrats winning this. I think it's fair to say Trump's going to win re-election. I think Trump might have a massive, massive victory, which shocks the left. I think we're looking at a Trump victory, man. Trump 2020 landslide, even with...
You get it. You get it. So that's where he was at prior to the election.
The Trump campaign...
The link, oh god, there's a bunch of stuff like that here on Tim Pool Clips. It's a Twitch channel, or sorry, a Twitter account.
Is filing many lawsuits. One of the latest is an allegation that voters were disenfranchised, people who don't live in Nevada are voting, and that they believe votes were cast in dead people's names. My friends, I have no idea what's going to happen, but this...
I already talked about the dead people thing, but for when I cut this up on YouTube. So what happens is if two people share the same name and a dead person is on the voter rolls still, like let's say your name is John Smith, and there was a John Smith who died, but is still on the voter rolls for some reason. So maybe they were born in 1900 or 1899, but they haven't been removed from the voter rolls for some reason. Sometimes the system will incorrectly pair your ballot under their name or under their birth date, but it doesn't mean anyone illegally voted. Nothing illegal necessarily happened. It's just a clerical error. It doesn't delegitimize your vote. It doesn't somehow throw your vote away. It's just an issue where the computer's getting confused between your name and the name of another person with the same name. It's not literally dead people voting or people committing fraud by, you know, using a dead person's place in the voter election, or not in the voter election. Oh, holy crapperoni. Was there another raid? Shit. Oh, the serfs. Thank you so much, Lance, for the raid. Wow. We're looking at Tim Pool and his cope Welcome everyone. We're getting all the cope in today, so I hope you're all doing well. I'm explaining the dead people voting thing. So as I was saying, it doesn't mean that someone actually like fraudulently filled out a ballot in the name of a dead person. It's the computer systems basically getting confused, for lack of a better word, and applying your vote to the wrong person with the same name who may or may not be dead. Well, that's good. I was going to raid the serfs, actually, when I was done, so I guess it worked the opposite. That's cool. Hello, everyone, by the way. I'm Hannah. I'm trans. I'm a leftist. I talk about all sorts of fun stuff. I do Chud Watch like twice a week. We look at people like Tim Pool and Sargon in the quartering, make fun of them, point out why they're wrong. I do a bunch of other stuff too. On Tuesdays, I do Tinfoil Tuesday, where I do conspiracy theory debunks. That's a lot of fun. We cover sovereign citizens and Karens and all sorts of fun stuff. So give me a follow if any of that sounds fun to you. Thanks, everyone, for being here.
This is the nightmare scenario, and I'll tell you why. First, it's a nightmare scenario for all of us in this country. We're seeing the fissure that has been growing for quite some time be finished off, split. Two different land masses have emerged.
That is true. I am the quartering's biggest fan. I am as obsessed with the quartering as the quartering is with Brie Larson. Maybe a little bit more. So when Jeremy gets put in the psych ward for his obsession with Brie Larson, when he's rocking in the corner with his Brie Larson body pillow covered in his own feces, I'll be in the opposite corner, just watching him in my own feces. It'll be a good time.
You either agree that the election was good or you agree that the election is bad. In my personal opinion, I believe Donald Trump should fight to the very bitter end because we have to make sure.
Since we just got a bunch of new people, honestly, I'm going to play the Tim Pool clip again because it's so funny. I imagine a lot of you saw this, but we need to watch this again.
I think Kamala and Biden might be throwaway candidates. They know they're going to get steamrolled in the election. I really don't see the Democrats winning this. I think it's fair to say Trump's going to win re-election. I think Trump might have a massive, massive victory, which shocks the left. I think we're looking at a Trump victory, man. Trump 2020 landslide, even with everything going on with COVID. I think that's what we can expect. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Trump had a 49-state landslide. I think we could see a 49-state landslide. We may be looking at a Mondale-Reagan-type scenario where Trump landslides 49 states. And we may see a 49-state landslide. Maybe a 50-state landslide. That'd be amazing. I think we might be seeing a 49-state landslide. I just really think it's more likely that Trump wins 520 electoral votes. No amount of mail-in ballots will matter. If Trump gets 537 or 36 or even 538 every single electoral vote. We all know Joe Biden will lose. Like, let's be real, man. As I've stated 1,000,001 times, Donald Trump's going to win. The Republicans are going to sweep. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Biden has defeated Donald Trump.
I need to do the Trump dance. This is an appropriate white person dance move, right?
Everything I've told you will be wrong and completely meaningless.
Tim's an idiot. I gotta get my... Hold on, I forgot. We're doing Tim, so I gotta get my own stupid beanie, okay? This is the stupid beanie stream now.
That's right, capitalistic propaganda.
There we go. That'll hide my malding.
That every avenue was approached, and if Trump wins, then we can see, okay, we went this way, we did investigations, we did an audit, we found out Trump really won, there you go.
Am I half of a different duo? If you're talking about Hannah and Jake, yes, I am Hannah of the Hannah and Jake YouTube channel, formerly The Bible Reloaded. Blueberry Soda, thank you for hosting. And thanks everyone for following, by the way. There was a lot of them, though, so I didn't get to all of them individually. PK the Lost with 20 bits. What's the cute little crab video? It's a meme. I'm actually not sure exactly where it comes from.
Unfortunately, I believe the left would not accept that, and if Trump ends up getting a victory in the courts,
The irony of Tim saying that the left won't accept if Donald Trump wins after the election is called, and Tim is currently not accepting that Biden, Sleepy Joe Biden, beat Daddy Trump, the alpha male supreme, has been outdone by Joe Biden, one of the most pathetic candidates the Democrats have put forward ever. It's amazing to me. Honestly, as much as I voted for Biden, and as much as I wanted Biden, or as much as I wanted Bernie to win, it's almost the fact that Trump got beaten by such a terrible candidate. It's a nice consolation. You know what I mean? You feel that? Do you feel that? Dr. Gamble, Stream Beans, thanks for the 100 bits. And then MH Dark Beast, Hannah did it, and then it cuts off. I assume that was did G. Keyboard dark. Okay, and then there's a link. Network may drop police from TARDIS outside. Network may drop police from TARDIS outside. I don't know what that means.
Bye-bye, Donnie, your time is up, so you can take your lies and you can go get fucked. The people spoke and they spoke by mail, so pack your shit, because it's time to bail.
I actually did see that earlier. It's funny. Here's a link if anyone wants to watch it. I don't want to watch it again, though, because I've been doing a lot of little Twitter asides and I got to get to this video. Links in the chat.
It'll end up being really bad no matter what.
The TARDIS says police on the outside. It does. It's a police public call box.
But if we do nothing, then you have 68 million people completely disenfranchised seeing...
Oh, you're saying the network may drop police from the TARDIS? That's stupid. Like, hey, a cab. I'm all for that. But like, the TARDIS is literally disguised as a police box. It would make no sense to take police off of the box. That's so stupid.
Videos of just insane things. One of the lawsuits we have right now that Donald Trump has received a victory on is in Pennsylvania. Poll watchers, tabulation count watchers should be able to go and watch the votes get counted. The only problem...
They were allowed, and the lie that they weren't is so prolific on the right at this point. It's the Goebbels thing. It's the, if you repeat a lie long enough, it becomes the truth, or if you repeat a lie enough times, it becomes the truth. Poll watchers were allowed to go and watch these things get voted. The only thing that went to court and they succeeded with is that originally the poll watchers were asked to stand 20 feet away from the counters, and then the court said, no, you can stand 6 feet. That's the only thing. But there were poll watchers everywhere. Guys, there were poll watchers at every single place where votes were being counted. And the right's insistence that there weren't is continually annoying.
Is that they're reporting now they're still not being allowed, even though the court ruled this. We're getting some back and forth information. Apparently, NBC has reported that a judge has overturned this. Now they're saying it's fake news. And that's the other reason this is a nightmare scenario. I think our country is in for very serious... it's going to be an awful couple of months, I tell you what. But
here's the thing, though. It doesn't have to be Tim. If Donald Trump would just accept the clear loss, then we'd be fine. This is Donald Trump's fault. And Tim, you're going to be like, oh, what about all the voting irregularities? The only voting irregularities are ones that were clerical errors that were fixed almost immediately that you only know about because they were actually caught. Stuff like the 6,000 votes in Michigan being flipped due to a clerical error because they fixed it almost immediately, or the 100,000 vote thing that lasted for a little bit that was due to a typo. We've seen a lot of right-wingers being like, oh, look at this 100,000 vote drop, and they all went to Biden. That's suspicious. And you're right, it was suspicious. For a couple minutes, it was up, but then it got taken down because it was a typo. It got fixed immediately, but y'all are using that and the fact that they did their due diligence and fixed it as evidence that they didn't do that. That's not how evidence works. You can't say, this thing actually worked out well, and they caught a mistake, and then say, this is proof that somehow they didn't do the thing I'm showing you. Doesn't make any sense.
But you know what the problem for me is? There's no certainty. You know, I can read the New York Times and NBC, and I can get two different versions of reality. And when I'm trying to break down what is or isn't happening, it's very, very difficult. Believe it or not, I'm very critical of the mainstream media, but I still...
Really? Famed leftist Tim Pool is critical of the media? How shocking. It's fine to be critical of the media. I think everyone on the left is also pretty leftists, not necessarily liberals, are pretty critical of the media and understand that there's inherent bias involved in all sorts of reporting, especially when we're talking about for-profit 24-hour news. But that doesn't mean you just get to say everything that comes out of news agencies is always 100% false. The AP, for instance, has been projecting a winner of the presidency since 1849. Since 1849! And all of a sudden, right-wingers, because Donald Trump lost, are mad about it. Well, they don't get to decide the winner of the election. They didn't. The people who voted did. The citizens of the United States did. And then AP and other news agencies after AP are reporting on that. That's what they do. They're reporters. Cosmic Rocketeer with 20 bits has a link to a TikTok video. Let me take a look. That's pretty funny. And then Sushi Mom says Barr authorizes Justice Department to probe substantial allegations of voter fraud. Here we go. Barr's gonna try and fucking fix it for Trump. This is gonna be a bad time, folks.
Capitalistic propaganda.
The AP is also a non-profit, so it's pretty safe, trustworthy. Yeah.
Do rely on them. I just cross-reference. And at a time like now, when I'm seeing NBC News say one thing, Politico say another, I don't know what is happening. Now, of course, Fox News has been reporting things that fly in the face of what people have seen and what they know. Notably, Nate Silver has called on Fox to retract their call for Arizona, but I want to highlight just one instance, and then we'll start reading through this stuff.
Oh,
and
now
man,
Tim gives a shit about Nate Silver?
It's messed up
That's
out
funny.
there. Fox News had a reporter say that the Trump campaign has said there's fraud in Nevada and they're going to be suing, and they've presented no evidence, says Fox News, which is wrong. They did. We can see the video, and I'm quite sure Fox News actually aired the video of a woman, I believe, yes, Fox News aired a woman saying that her mail-in ballot was missing, and they claimed she had already voted when she didn't. This is just one story, but if there are many...
One person having that happen is not evidence of widespread voter fraud, Tim. You understand that, right? A single instance by one person who could be lying in the first place. I have absolutely no trust in any individual person to come forward and say something, because despite the threat of, if you were to actually go to court and lie under oath, that's perjury, people still do that all the time. Like, I have no trust that anyone who's going to come forward and claim that one thing happened to them, first of all, that it happened in the first place, but second of all, that then we're going to take that one person's anecdote and say that it's some sort of epidemic of that happening. You need evidence of that, Tim.
Stories like this, then Nevada could be up in the air. I don't know what to tell you, man. If Trump wins through the courts, the left is going to light everything up. And if Trump doesn't get a hard-fought battle to verify, then the right is not going to believe it. And we are seeing, like I said...
If Donald Trump won at this point because he somehow goes through the Supreme Court, people would rightfully riot. I'm not telling you to do that. Let me be clear. I'm not. But it would be understandable if people did, specifically because it would mean the downfall of our democracy. It would mean it's over. The republic's over if that happens, guys. You don't get to lose an election, both by the popular vote and electorally, and then try and take it by force legally. By legally, I mean take it by force through the legal system, not legally. So ridiculous to me that anyone's even putting this forth as something that's a reasonable thing to do. Dando Rando, thanks for the 20 bits.
For a long time, the polarization has been deepening in this country. A fissure has been growing, splitting these two landmasses, and Election Day, that was the day it split. We are now desperately trying to make sure we can hold this together and make sure the polarization doesn't become completely unrepairable, but I believe that's it.
Trump's melting down on Twitter right now. What else is new? Jesus Christ. Donald... What's he saying? 4 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes. Oh, Jesus Christ. Here we go. Brian Kemp says Georgia's election results will include legally casted ballots and only legally cast ballots. And Donald Trump says, this is good news. It means I won. No, it does not. Oh, Jesus Christ. Then here's the thing, guys. When Donald Trump says this, he's not just lying. I mean, he's telling an untruth, but he believes it. Donald Trump is a narcissist, and narcissists are incapable of recognizing when they lose, right? Donald Trump literally cannot understand that there is a scenario, the scenario that we are living in right now, where he can legitimately lose just because he's less popular than Joe Biden. He cannot understand that. It is symptomatic of his narcissism. Let's see what he said. Fox News, Quinnipiac, blah, 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 were so inaccurate with their polls on me that it is really tampering with an election. They were so off in their polling and in their attempt to suppress that they should be called out for election interference. Polling and being wrong in your polling is not election interference, if it needs to be said. Had me down 17 points in Wisconsin the day before the election, and I won. No, what? No, he didn't. He did not win Wisconsin. In Iowa, the polls had us 4 points down, and I won by 8.2. Fox News and Quinnipiac were wrong on everything. The worst polling ever, and then they'll be back in 4 years to do it again. This is much more than voter and campaign finance suppression. That's not what that is. Polling has been very, very wrong, both in 2016 and this year, and it's something that pollsters need to go look at their models and see what the heck is going on with them, because historically polls, people have only been around for 2016 and 2020. You might not know this, but polling in the past has been relatively accurate. For some time, these past 2 election cycles have been terrible, though, for polling. So I'm not sure why. Can I post a link to the Tim Pool compilation? If you go on Twitter and you search Tim Pool clips, it's all over that channel. That's where I found it. He goes on to say, as I have long said, Pfizer and the others would only announce a vaccine after the election because they didn't have the courage to do it before. Likewise, the FDA should have announced it earlier, not for political purposes, but saving lives. Donald Trump, the announcement has no bearing on when it gets released. I don't know if you know that. If Joe Biden were president, you wouldn't have the vaccine for another 4 years? What? Oh, God, Trump, stop. Stop.
Feel like I could see the dominoes falling for quite
That shit's why Donald Trump lost, by the way. People are sick of this fucking idiot.
some time. I don't see a way out of this. I'm sorry, but let's read the story, and I'll tell you what's going on with the latest news and accusations of dead people voting. Before we get started, head over to timcast.com/donate if you'd like to support my work. There are many ways you can give. There's a P.O. box if you want to send some stuff, but the best thing you can do is share this video. I do a good job,
you have
and
returned.
my
Thank
news
you.
reporting
Welcome.
and commentary is rational and reasonable, and you think it helps, please consider sharing. It also helps support my channel when you do. But don't forget, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Here's the first story we have from the
David A.R. White's getting divorced. That's kind of funny.
Daily Mail. Nevada election result is delayed with just 200,000 votes left to count as Biden's lead increases to 11,500 and Trump sues, claiming tens of thousands were cast in dead people's names. Officials had expected to give a result on Thursday, but Clark County, where Las Vegas is and where there are more than 1.9 million people, said it had 51,000 votes that would not be counted until tomorrow. Biden is leading in Nevada, but only by 11,545 votes, which is around 1%. If he claims the state today, he will win another 6 electoral college points, giving him 270 when factoring in the 11 that come from Arizona. However, I got to stop and say, Arizona didn't go Biden. This was wrongly called, and the pollsters, for all of their faults, are seemingly saying not called yet. More importantly, I have the New York Times.
It's been called at this point. Again, I don't know if it'll get... I think I heard earlier CNN uncalled it. Let me see. Arizona vote count. Let me see news. Let me see what the latest is. Someone said earlier CNN retracted their call or something. 6 days ago. Maricopa County Attorney's Office to dismiss him. That's not about the vote count. Oops. 23 hours ago. Biden's lead over Trump in Arizona narrows. President-elect Joe Biden's lead over Donald Trump is narrowed to 16,000 as of Sunday afternoon. That was yesterday. Maricopa, Apache, Navajo, and Pinal counties reported results for more than 37,000 ballots. So far, Biden's still ahead, but who knows? He doesn't need Arizona to win, though, so it's not particularly relevant. But
they have not called Arizona, okay? So if you want to go by AP and Fox News, fine, go do it. But the New York Times, many outlets, including 538, they are saying no. In fact, Nate Silver of 538 has called on Fox and the AP to retract their calling of Arizona for Joe Biden. So as of right now, be wary. If Joe Biden wins Nevada, he may declare victory prematurely.
He won. Tim, he won.
My friends, I really do think this may become a Trump victory in the courts. House delegations are on Trump's side, and the Supreme Court may very well be on Trump's side, at least 5-4.
Think about this. Without any actual evidence of widespread voter fraud, Tim is saying he believes that the Supreme Court is on Trump's side 5-4. He is literally advocating for the democratic results of an election to be overturned by judges who have been appointed by Donald Trump himself. He is literally saying, yes, daddy, please give me that totalitarian single-party state, please. Republicans do not care about democracy. Right-wingers do not care about democracy. They care about winning. And when it becomes clear to them that they cannot win at the national level or any level, once we deal with gerrymandering and stuff like that, once it becomes clear to them that they cannot win democratically based on the merit of their ideas, they will underhandedly cheat and lie and steal their way to winning, because they do not care about exercising the will of the people. They care about exercising their control over the population. It's sick. It's sick. And it undermines the entire foundation of our country. But here's how Trump can still win. Yeah. Same feel as the Bernie thing.
They say Arizona was
This was posted on the 5th. It was before it got called for Biden.
Called for him on Wednesday morning by Fox and the AP, but with 450,000 votes still outstanding, it remains in play for Trump. If Biden loses Arizona, he has 259 electoral college votes. He'd need another 11 from either Georgia, which holds 16, North Carolina, which holds 15, or Pennsylvania, which holds 20 to win. Arizona will not finalize its results until tomorrow, nor will Pennsylvania and Georgia, is expected by the end of the day. Nor will Pennsylvania and Georgia is expected by the end of the day. It's unclear when North Carolina will announce, but is expected to go to...
Foss says, I honestly don't understand how they don't know they're fascists, and I mean average people, not the higher-ranking Republicans. Your average person is very stupid. I think George Carlin said, think about how stupid your average person is, and then remember half of people are stupider than that. Like, people are not smart. People are not smart, and they're very willing to follow leaders that they agree with, even if it means hurting other people.
Trump as it did in 2016. The race in Nevada has been tight for most of the morning. Biden led by around 7,000 votes. Officials had hoped...
Yeah, this is the video about Jake. I saw that.
I want to say, look at yourself in the mirror first.
That was a good time to jump through. Look at yourself in the mirror first. To dudes in Trump. One's in a Trump hat. They have a collection of Trump hats up here, and then they got a Trump flag and a Trump. Guys, if this is your whole identity, please go and learn more about yourself. For the love of God.
to deliver results at noon, but the deadline came and went. Now it's unclear when they will report one. The race could narrow enough to prompt network decision desks and the AP to call the state for him before officials do. However, with previous states like Arizona thrown into doubt and with tensions simmering across the country over just how close the race is, it is impossible to tell when it will be called. Trump's team used the gap to file a lawsuit to halt the vote, alleging widespread voter fraud. They say they have evidence that tens of thousands of votes have been cast fraudulently. Quote, we are confident that when all legal votes are tallied, and only legal votes are tallied, President Trump will win the state of Nevada. Former Director of National Intelligence Rick Grenell told Fox News on Thursday morning. Now, they gave a press conference, as you can see. Included in the press conference was a woman who says that her mail-in ballot, she never received it. Someone took it. And when she went to go vote, they told her that she had already voted. She said that's not true and that there are potentially more people who are like this. Now, Daily Mail goes on to say,
one person having that happen to them is not indicative of an epidemic of that happening. Why do you think this anecdote of a single individual, who could be lying, by the way, there have been multiple accounts of Trump voter fraud, both in 2016 and 2020, where they try and vote twice. She could have voted herself by mail and then wanted to go in and do it in person. Because, by the way, Trump said for his supporters to do that, if you don't remember. Her instance is not indicative of a larger trend. It just isn't. And trying to push forward these things is pathetic, for lack of a better word. It's fucking pathetic. At this point, this is sad. This is so pathetic that these people cannot just accept that they lost. It's ridiculous.
say, the reality, quote, the reality is transparency is not political. Ballots are...
Holy shit, Fields of Blue. I hope this is true. Fields of Blue. Does you have a link on this? Oh, someone else corroborates. Okay. They literally found the woman's ballot and she forgot, and she had the option to sign a waiver and re-vote. She literally forgot that she already voted. Genius. What a dumb fuck. God, I hate these people. I hate them so much. Was there an update on the article afterward? No? Okay.
Are not automatically legal votes unless they're checked. We are not being able to check. There's a 30-day residency requirement in the state of Nevada. If you haven't been in the state for 30 days, it is illegal to vote. We are filing this federal lawsuit to protect legal voters. It is unacceptable in this country to have illegal votes counted. That is what's happening in the state of Nevada, Grenell claimed at a press conference. Nevada law states that to be eligible to vote, a person has to have been a resident of the state for at least 30 days before the election. That does not necessarily mean that they have to have been physically in the state for 30 days preceding the election. I gotta say, I think it's actually a fairly weak argument from Trump's camp. I believe they should make every argument possible, and the Democrats are going to need to win this one, and I think it's going to go to legalities. But I think if you've got people who no longer have a residence in Nevada and then voted in Nevada, then I believe we've got issues. If you've got people who have an apartment and have just been out of state, that's not an argument. There are a lot of people who live places. Look, I'll tell you this. When I used to...
Trump himself obviously doesn't live in Florida, but he used his golf club. He used that as his residence for his voter registration, which is why he could vote in Florida. So that kind of thing happens all the time.
Work for...
Even though, interestingly, that's not really a residence, but I don't really care. Out of all things to harp on about Trump, that's not the one I'm going to do. It is pretty hypocritical, though, considering all the things he's going after.
Vice. There were periods where I wouldn't be back at my apartment for months traveling for work. I do not believe that you can just claim that because they've been gone for 30 days, they no longer live there. We'll see how this plays out. Far be it from me. I am no legal expert. Trump's people also claim that many of the votes in Nevada come from people who no longer live there or were cast under the names of deceased people.
There's nothing funny about
Okay, this is the last point I'm going to talk about before I move on, just because he's going to go on. We covered a lot of this with the Sargon video earlier. The dead voter thing, like I said earlier, I think I mentioned this at the beginning of this video even, that happens when you have the same name as someone who is still on the voter rolls from the same area or the same district, but they've died. And then the computer, confused by the fact that you have the same name, puts your ballot under someone else's name. It doesn't mean your vote doesn't count. It doesn't mean you voted illegally. It just means that the computer categorized your vote to the wrong person. And that happens somewhat regularly. So it's not that out of place. So when dumb right-wingers say something along the lines of, oh, a bunch of dead people voted, or they make that joke, call them idiots, because that's what they are. Idiots at best, liars at
There's
worst.
nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Dr. Gamble with 100 bits. Christ, I have never seen someone so desperately grasping at straws as these folks. Talk about incredulity, right? Update story. Okay, here we go. M. Grave, thank you for continuing your gift sub. Nevada Secretary... This is the exact same lady that Tim was just talking about. Nevada Secretary of State's investigation into Jill Stokes' stolen ballot claims pretty much says it all. Jill Stoke, the circumstances surrounding one of the plaintiffs in a GOP-touted lawsuit alleging nefarious tales of voting irregularities and fraud in Nevada continued to get stranger on Friday, further compelling the already long-shot effort to challenge election results in the state. The case revolves around Jill Stoke, a legally blind 79-year-old in Nevada, who Trump campaign officials said was prevented from voting in person because someone had stolen and sent in her mail-in ballot 2 weeks prior without her knowledge. An initial hearing was scheduled for Friday afternoon before the U.S. District Judge Andrew Gordon. I went to vote and was told I already voted, Stokes said in a brief statement during Thursday's press conference announcing the lawsuit. She said that she'd only ever voted in person in the past, saying, "This time they mailed out the ballot and somebody took my ballot," as previously reported by Law and Crime. Clark County Registrar of Voters Joe Gloria pushed back on Stokes' claims and said he personally handled her complaint. After an initial review, election officials believed that the signature on the ballot matched the Stokes signature they had on file, but the county still gave Stokes the option to challenge her verified mail-in ballot and cast a provisional ballot, an option she refused. According to an Election Day report on the matter from an investigator in the Nevada Secretary of State's office, first obtained by the Nevada Independent, Stoke refused to submit an official complaint and cast a provisional ballot because she didn't want to criminally implicate the person she alleged had voted in her place. Nevada Secretary of State Barbara Kegavsk is a Republican. Stoke told me she thought an individual being evicted from her residence in mid-October may have stolen her ballot. She said she advised Gloria of this. She produced 2 yellow legal pads and told her if she provided a statement regarding the possible theft of her ballot, she would be provided a provisional ballot to cast. The report from Chief Investigator Paul Tucker read, Stoke told me she did not think she would be pressured into implicating another person in a crime, and she had no proof this crime actually occurred. In other words, according to this account, Stoke believed her ballot was stolen, complained about this, but she didn't want to punish the person allegedly responsible so she could make sure her vote would count as she intended, huh? It really sounds like she wanted to vote twice and just got caught, and now she's making excuses. Foss with 69 bits. I just saw a Trump 2020 flag laying on the side of the road. Funny. Per the report, Tucker again attempted to persuade Stoke to submit a statement, reiterating that if she were to simply cast 2 ballots, she would be charged with a crime. Stoke maintained she should not have to implicate another person in a crime in order to cast her vote. The report said, adding that she instead chose to contact several local news outlets and tell her story. Eventually, she was the star of Trump campaign's press conference. The Nevada Secretary of State's office said Stoke told Tucker she was no longer going to pursue the matter because, quote, she felt like she had done everything she could, end quote, though that clearly was not the case. Additionally, in the lawsuit filed Thursday, the complaint stated Stoke was turned away from the polls November 3rd, a week after she initially claimed the event occurred. Quote, on information and belief, it was Clark County's use of Agilis, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, signature verification software that allowed plaintiff Stokes' ballot, which she had not signed, to be accepted and counted in the election, the complaint claimed. It should be noted that Stokes' attorneys didn't even allege ballot theft in court. That's not what the Trump campaign said on Twitter. However, watch hashtag Nevada voter Jill Stoke on how her ballot was stolen. Some of the out-of-state voters Tim is complaining about are active military. Wow, what a shock. The right doesn't give a shit about the military when it actually hurts them. No kidding. Moonlit, thanks for following. Instead, Stokes' lawyers focused on the voting irregularities. Following Friday's hours-long hearing, Judge Gordon rejected plaintiffs' request to halt Nevada's vote counting, saying the claims were lacking, according to Law and Crime senior investigative reporter Adam Klasfeld. You can read the full report here. So yeah, she basically tried to vote twice. They found her ballot, and it had her signature on it. She tried to vote twice, got called out, and then the Trump campaign tried to use her as an example of voter fraud because they are so desperate that they are picking people who are voting illegally for them as a example of how Democrats are doing the thing that they're actually doing. Weird. It's almost like right-wingers are all hypocrites and pieces of shit. Weird. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens over the coming weeks. If Barr gets involved, all bets are off, which apparently he has, specifically because Barr is unscrupulous and immoral enough that he would manufacture evidence to try and get Trump to win. I really believe that. I really do. I think Barr will absolutely make shit up to try and get Trump to win somehow. And that'll be scary. If that happens and they succeed, that's the end of democracy in the United States. Legitimately. That's it. Caesar's crossed the Rubicon. Like, no coming back from that one, guys. Anyway, I think that's going to be it for today. We'll cover some of this other stuff in later in the week for those Chud Watch videos. Tomorrow, I will be back for Tinfoil Tuesday. I'm sure we'll be doing a bunch of fun conspiracies, but we'll also probably throw one or two election conspiracy theories that we'll debunk. It'll be fun. Thank you, everyone, by the way, who came during the raids. If you liked what you saw, give me a follow. I stream almost every day of the week. We do tons of stuff. We do Chud Watch, usually on Mondays and Fridays. We do Tinfoil Tuesday on Tuesdays, of course, where we cover all sorts of crazy conspiracy theories. Flat Earth, QAnon, moon landing hoaxes, Bigfoot, you know, and we just have fun, watch the videos, talk about them, talk about why the claims aren't true. We do Sovereign Citizens, which is a thing where people basically think the law doesn't apply to them because they can claim that they're sovereign and the laws of the land don't apply to them. That's a lot of fun to watch those videos. We do Karens, we do what's called Public Domania, where we watch public domain educational films and stuff and kind of riff on them and just see the weird stuff that people used to watch. So, we do a lot of fun stuff over here. Thank you for, thanks for checking me out, seriously. If you enjoyed what you saw, thanks for following or whatever. Check out my YouTube channel also, I'll put it in the chat. Follow my YouTube channel. All my past streams and stream highlights are on my YouTube channel. Link in the chat. And we will raid Bad Bunny. Again, thanks everyone. Chat is valid as always. I hope y'all have a wonderful evening. Enjoy some more Chud Cope on Twitter. There's a pretty good Twitter that's like MAGA Cope or something. Go check them out. They're good. And yeah, have a good night, everyone.